Good day, everyone. My name is ANDRIE Flores, and together with me are MONIQUE, ALEXIS, CELIZ, ISABELLE, MONIQUE DADULA, CHARISSE, FAYE, EDIANEL, HUBERT, SHADRACK, ESCARO, and MELROSE, Flores. And today, we are here to present the findings of our research entitled Social Wellbeing, Challenges, and Coping Mechanisms of Student Nurses Living Independently Away from Their Hometown. As nursing students ourselves, the researchers understand how difficult it is to be away from family while adjusting to academic and personal responsibilities. For the background of the study, this study was inspired by the researchers' own experiences and observations. Living in dormitories far from home brings emotional, social, and academic pressures that many students struggle to handle. These challenges may affect their overall well-being and ability to cope effectively. For the statement of the problem, the researchers aim to explore the levels of social well-being, the types of challenges, and the coping strategies used by first-year nursing students. The researchers also wanted to know if there are differences in responses based on demographics and if relationships exist among the major variables.
Significance of the study. The findings of the study may be beneficial to the following: College of Nursing Administrator, nursing students, parents, and future researchers. This study is beneficial to the nursing administrator as it identifies key areas where support services can be improved. For students, it offers awareness about the impact of living independently and the importance of effective coping strategies. It may also guide parents and future researchers in understanding the deeper effects of independent student life.
Next is the theoretical and conceptual framework. This study is guided by Callista Roy's adaptation model, Lazarus and Folkman's stress and coping theory, and human system model. These frameworks help the researchers analyze how students perceive stress and how their coping responses affect their social functioning. And this is the core concepts. And this is the schematic diagram of our study.
Next is the hypothesis statement. Null hypothesis. First, there is no significant difference between social well-being of the students when grouped according to profile variables. Second, there is no significant difference between challenges of the students when grouped according to the profile variables. And third, there is no significant relationship between social well-being, challenges, and coping mechanisms. Next is the scope and limitation. The study only involved first-year nursing students enrolled at the University of St. LaSalle during the school year 2024 to 2025, who live away from their families. The participants must have stayed in dormitories and returned to home only twice a month or less. Next is the research design. The researchers used a quantitative correlational design to examine the relationship among challenges, coping strategies, and social well-being. This helped the researchers analyze data in numerical form and apply statistical tools.
For the participants, the researchers selected the first-year nursing students using purposive sampling. All participants met the researchers' inclusion criteria, which are first-year level, living in a dormitory, and away from immediate family.
For the instruments, the researchers used the brief code inventory, the social well-being scale by case, and the researchers made challenges questioning. All tools were validated and challenges questionnaires had a front-back alpha of 0.77, indicating reliability. For data gathering, first we obtain technical approval, ethical approval, and prepare informed consent forms for participants. Second, we select eligible nursing students through purposive sampling. Third, the dissemination of the survey at convenient times in the private location. Fourth, data collection that will be saved to Google Sheets. Fifth, data transfer to SPSS for further statistical analysis, including descriptive statistics, correlation analysis, and regression analysis. Lastly, anonymity and ethical closure are strictly used to protect the information of all the participants. So for analytical treatment, first, SLP1, the researchers used frequency and percentage to describe the demographic profile of the respondent. SLP2 to 4, the researchers computed the mean and standard deviation to measure the levels of social well-being, challenges, and coping mechanism. SOP5 to 7, the researchers used the independent samples t-test to compare differences and responses based on demographics. For SOP8, the researchers applied Pearson R to test the relationship among the three major variables.
For the ethical considerations, autonomy, participation was voluntary with informed consent from each participant. During the selection process, justice was maintained, ensuring that it was fair and free from any form of bias or favoritism. Participants were made aware of their freedom to decline or withdraw. Confidentiality, anonymity were strictly used to protect student identities. All information presented by participants was kept strictly confidential and secured. And lastly, for non-maleficence, ethical practices ensured no harm to participants with data securely stored according to privacy standards.
So for the results and discussion, Table 1, the socio-demographic profile of the participants. Majority of the participants were aged 19 years old and below. In terms of sex, females comprise a greater share of the sample. Moreover, over a half were reported a monthly allowance of 6,000 pesos and below.
And for the table 2, for the level of social well-being when taken as a whole and when grouped according to factors, students showed high social integration and social contribution, but moderate social acceptance, coherences, and actualization, indicating they feel connected but struggle with cultural differences.
Table 3 level of challenges when taken as a whole and when grouped according to factors shows that academic and emotional challenges were high among students, while financial and social challenges were moderate.
For table number 4, level of coping mechanism when taken as a whole and when grouped according to factors showed that students relied most on positive coping such as active coping, planning, positive reframing, acceptance, humor, use of emotional support, use of instrumental support, and self-distraction. While negative coping such as denial, venting, substance use, behavioral disengagement, and self-blame, the least used coping strategies.
Next is table 5. The difference in level of social well-being when taken as a whole and when grouped according to profile variables showed that social well-being varied significantly with income and monthly expenses, but not with age or sex. For table 6, difference in level of challenges when taken as a whole and when grouped according to profile variable showed that there were no significant differences in challenges based on demographics.
For the table number 7, the difference in the level of coping mechanisms when taken as a whole and when grouped according to profile variables, only age had a significant influence on coping mechanisms, like older students coped better. For the table number 8, relationship between the level of social well-being, challenges, and coping mechanisms, there was a moderate negative correlation between challenges and social well-being, but coping mechanisms did not show a strong relationship with either.
For the conclusion, students living away from their hometowns face emotional and academic challenges that can impact their well-being. However, many show resilience by using positive coping strategies, especially religious and acceptance-based approaches. For the recommendations, the researchers recommend schools implement support programs, mental health services, and skill-building workshops for independent students. Families should also maintain communication, and support from a distance. Further research is encouraged to explore interventions that enhance student adaptation. Here are the references used in the study. For the acknowledgements, we extend our heartfelt gratitude to everyone who has contributed to the successful completion of our research study. To Dr. Tony Anna Chica, Dean of the College of Nursing, University of St. Lasal, for her steadfast support and guidance, which inspired us to pursue this research with confidence. To Dr. Tony Anna Chica, RN, MN, PhD, and Dr. Geraldine Abalia, PhD, for their valuable insights, constructive feedback, and unwavering support throughout the development of this research. To our research facilitators, Dr. Sheilla M. Trajera and Dr. Rica Flores, for their invaluable mentorship, constructive feedback, and encouragement throughout this journey. To the participants who generously shared their experiences, allowing us to gain meaningful insights into the challenges faced by the nursing students living away from home. To the College of Nursing of the University of St. LaSalle for providing the resources, support, and academic environment that enabled us to conduct this study. To our families and friends for their unwavering support, encouragement, and understanding throughout the research process. And most importantly, to God Almighty for granting us the strength, wisdom, and perseverance needed to complete this project. Thank you all for your invaluable contributions to making this research possible. Thank you.